You're listening to the Pittsburgh Piledriver.
What the hell is that?
Podcast.
Welcome, ladies and germs, to the Pittsburgh Piledriver Podcast. No sassy introduction today. We've got wrestling to talk about. And then at the end of the show, we've got bullshittery to do. So it's going to be a wild ride. Beef the Legend, Poot the Bard, Alec Ransom. The three of us are here. Tiger Bomb Tom is out because Goldberg has killed wrestling for our poor Tiger Bomb. And we mourn the death that was the enjoyment that he got out of wrestling. Thank you, Bill Goldberg. You are the worst. Thank you to the casual Shut up.
No.
Thank you. No, keep shutting up. Thank you to the Casual Gaming Dad and Sean Tischler for sponsoring the show. We will have a more in-depth gratuity to pay to you later on in the show, done by somebody much more eloquent than me. Now, off to the races. Is there wrestling that was done recently? Is there coming up wrestling? Is it still on?
We've got coming up wrestling. We've got Money in the Bank this Sunday.
Oh.
Now we have his permission to talk.
That's right. Fucking recognize, and also recognize this. It doesn't matter how hard you try, Beef. You're never going to take this belt off of Poot. He is the granddaddy of the champions. He's our champion of our hearts and of the podcast. You're never taking the belt away.
Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
Damn true.
You know what they say about never?
Yes. Always say never.
Yes. Every time say never.
Always say never. I don't think that's
Open
how
the
that
windows
goes,
for
but
more
all
good
right.
ideas. Isn't that right?
Not in
Help
my
me plug
airtight
this
fortress.
in. Things don't always have
Yeah,
to do
Money in the
things.
Bank. This is, how long has it been since Poot's title was on the line? It feels like it's been forever, but I think Poot just keeps retaining that.
For the first time in forever.
It's been
Terrible.
He had 2 sips
That's
of booze, so
definitely
that
nuts.
means he's going to be all sing-songy tonight.
I mean, he defended at WrestleMania, but, you know, WrestleMania was a fucking sham.
I didn't listen. I didn't just defend at WrestleMania. I handily defended.
Oh yeah, you killed it. You killed it. Didn't you? What were you, like, all of it for 1 or 2?
It wasn't that extreme. I think I was like, what, 14 for 5 or something like that, Beef?
Still, that's ridiculous.
I don't know. Let's quit sucking Poot's dick and start talking about some picks.
But it's been so long.
Oh.
All right. I'm actually kind of excited, man, because honestly, you could talk, and we're not going to pontificate on Mania anymore. We did that in previous episodes, which you should go back and watch. You can check them out on our YouTube channel.
To.
But like, the thing is, like, Mania overall, I think we're not going to look back on it with rose-colored glasses, but I think we're not going to look back on it and throw up in our mouths. I don't. Because they did the best with what they had, and there were some really, really high points. I can't really think of a point that was, like, direly low. So let's see what they do with a normal-ass pay-per-view, where they don't have boneyard matches and such.
Right, but this is still going to be, like, this is just going to be an echo of WrestleMania, right? Except no cinematic matches. Or are they going to have some cinematic matches?
No. The Money in the Bank matches are going to be cinematic styled. I mean, they're fighting from the bottom of WWE headquarters
Titan Towers
to the top of the roof where the belts are going to be hung, and they are going to be running, the briefcases, and they're going to be running concurrently, apparently, so they're going to be happening at the same time.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh.
We do not need to group chat during that, because I can tell you right now I'm going to piss Beef off, because that right there just sounds like some bullshittery to me.
I think it sounds like a bunch of fun bullshittery.
I agree. I think so. First of all, I'm excited about the idea of them, like, brawling through Titan Towers or whatever they're fucking calling it now, and then, like, the ladders on the roof. I'm digging the fact that they're cinematic, and I'm really hoping that someone gets like thrown off the roof and then like brought back to life like 2 weeks later, like AJ Styles. And the fact that they're going to be happening at the same time means it's going to be chaos, and I think is I think that's going to be great.
So what? Are you going to have split screen then?
I don't know. We'll see what they're doing.
Be? Or is it going to be like that one fucking WrestleMania match where it's like every 4 seconds, camera cut, camera cut, camera cut, camera cut? That'd drive me nuts. I'd have to turn it off.
I think
I feel more and more like Jim Cornette every day.
I'll tell you what, man. I've turned off the regular product. Like, I don't watch Raw. I don't watch SmackDown. I watch NXT because it's good wrestling, and that's all they do is wrestling. So, like, to me, I would rather than take a chance on some of this goofy bullshit and see what sticks than not and just get the same fucking bullshit in a fucking performance center that we've gotten the last 8 weeks.
I agree, and I think like if they could do a very even mix of the two, I think like Beef said, it adds a little bit of color and it adds a little bit of flair. And frankly, 2 reasons why I like this. Number one, I have a penchant for the absurd, so I'm all for absurd bullshit. Number 2, and here's the kicker, is that we can turn the Money in the Bank matches into drinking games because you can look in the background and see how many goofball references they're going to make.
Mm-hmm. Well, and here's the other thing with Money in the Bank being cinematic and all that. To me,
that's Beef's new thing.
Right. To me, I'm just saying. No, I mean, so like the product right now is historically bad.
Beef's got COVID.
Historically bad.
Confirmed.
Like the record, the numbers are the lowest that they've ever been in history.
Yep.
So it's very clear that no one just wants to tune in and watch them broadcast from that stupid fucking performance center every week. So
Can I make
I'm all about them taking chances and doing something wild. I'm really hoping the Braun versus Bray is cinematic and something wild and outside the box too, because especially if the women's and the men's Money in the Bank matches are both going to be happening at the same time, that's going to be a lot of like boring ring stuff. And see, here's the thing. So I'm not saying I think that they could go out there and put on great matches, but they're not doing it. They're not giving us 5-star matches. They're going out and giving us a regular Raw match. So a regular Raw match minus a crowd equals a piss break. A piss break for the whole pay-per-view equals a waste of time. So I want to see what they can do with it. I don't want to see it overused, but I think the Money in the Bank contract matches are wonderful. It's a litmus test to see how they can handle big fight feel matches with this. I think that both the Boneyard match was like universally well received. The Firefly Funhouse was hot and cold. Some people loved it. Some people hated it. I think we're like 75-1 or 75-25 on this podcast. 3 of us loved it. 1 of us hated it.
Guilty.
So, because you've been listening to way too much Jim Cornette, motherfucker.
Well, it's a motherfucker.
I'm really screwed into Jim Cornetteville in my old age.
No, but I absolutely understand why you didn't like it.
Yes.
I get why.
It was...
Like,
yes,
I tune into these pay-per-views. I don't say weekly shows because let's face it, I don't. But I turn into these pay-per-views because I want to watch wrestling. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see a wrestling match. I understand it's scripted. I get it, the outcome is predetermined. No one's fooling anybody here on that. For years, it's been known. But that's what I tune in for. I tune in for a wrestling match. Entrance, ding, 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 wrestle, winner. I don't tune in to see an episode of fucking Survivor WWE style. Like, who's going to get voted off or who's going to get pit? Like, no, I don't tune in for that shit. Like, what's John Cena going to be wearing this time? Oh, is he going to be pumping iron or is he going to be fucking Hulk Hogan? If I want to watch a movie, I'm going to watch something good. I'll watch a fucking Marvel movie.
I get.
But the problem is, and I mentioned this before. Sorry, but the problem is that like so much of what they did as just like normal get through the card matches were elevated by the crowd responses.
Oh, I
That
100% agree with you.
But now, so they either have the option of putting on 5-star match after 5-star match after 5-star match, which is fine, and which they could do. I think that they have the talent.
Yeah.
Or they have to throw in some absurdity, or both. What they're doing, and so WrestleMania, Edge versus Orton stood out because it was a decent match. It went a little bit too long. It wasn't quite as like blood feud as I wanted, but we might get more of that at SummerSlam. Who knows? The Boneyard match stood out. The Firefly Funhouse match, good or bad, stood out. Mm-hmm. Everything else on that card, even the quote-unquote main events of Lesnar and McIntyre and Braun versus Goldberg, both fell into the shuffle because they didn't do like, for me, every match that took place at WrestleMania feels like it's a match that could have taken place at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa Bay. They didn't try to hide the fact that they didn't try to play to their strengths, is what I'm saying. So like their weaknesses stood out even worse. And so like if that's their plan again at Money in the Bank, and looking at the card, I don't see a lot of matches that make me go, oh, that could be incredible. I see a lot of matches that make me go, that's going to be a piss break. And again, if it's a piss break, it's a waste of a pay-per-view.
To be fair here, Beef, like Money in the Bank, short of the moments of like, oh shit, so-and-so got the Money in the Bank, contract, it's not one of the big four. Like, it's not one that I look forward to. Frankly, I usually forget about it until they start talking about the contract, and I go, oh shit, yeah, Money in the Bank's a thing. Like, and I think, though, that if nothing else, I think we can all agree that it's going to be interesting. Good interesting or bad interesting, whether you like that the way that they're going to present the big keynote matches, which are the Money in the Bank contract matches. One way or another, it's going to be something unique, and it's going to be something different, and it's going to be something that we're inevitably going to talk about. And more than likely in this forum, we're going to argue about.
Now,
much like AEW failed WWE coming up at the end of the month, which I am going to talk about tonight because we got to talk about that card because. Wait,
what?
But so real quick, AEW two matches that they've announced, two main events are Archer versus Cody, two ex-WWE guys, and Brody Lee versus John Moxley, again, two WWE guys. So, yeah. So, and I'm not going to get into it, but we definitely need to have some time in the show where we can talk about that, because I think that it's going to be really good.
Well, let's do that.
I just want to say this. I'm very thankful that this Corona thing happened, at least in the United States, after the Royal Rumble. Because if it would have happened in like November, and Royal Rumble came around, and everybody's on lockdown, and they did one of those stupid-ass cinematic matches for the Royal Rumble, where they're all in some sort of coliseum, and they're Roman-style gladiator battling to the death to find out who the winner of the Royal Rumble is. No, I'm done. I've been out. Subscription canceled. Podcast over. I'm done. That would have been the worst thing ever. And
that would have been better than what they put out for the most part. The Rumble was okay.
I
kill you, motherfucker.
Jim Cornette's really coming out of me tonight. I'll make you a deal.
I hear it.
I say we do a Discord chat for the Money in the Bank match. And, hear me out.
I'm actually predisposed, so I cannot. I
Okay.
apologize, but I'm actually Discord chatting with another group of people. But I would love to hear his deal anyway.
My deal would have been is I will not shit on that match one single bit, but anytime somebody throws their opponent's head into a wall, a door, a picture, anytime they just bounce it off of a wall, you have to take a drink.
Oh,
15 seconds into that match, you'll be plastered.
Oh yeah,
Because
no, that would
I
have
have a
been the
real
case.
bad feeling that it's just going to be like the Edge Orton match, where they're just going to be climbing Titan Towers, throwing people into walls, bouncing people off of windows, knocking people off of doors. Like, you can't do any moves. It's just going to be wham, 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 wham. Like, boy,
Well,
I'm so
to be
glad we're
fair-
getting these people bouncing each other off the walls to climb up this stupid building.
To be fair, there is a wrestling ring at the top of Titan Towers, at the top of
top of
WWE
Tip Tap.
headquarters. There is Tip Tap. There is a ring set up with the ladders and the contracts.
Wow.
So there is a possibility, but they have to get there first. So we'll see. I'm like I said, I'm very intrigued now that they're running both matches at the same time. It'll be interesting. But let's
Man.
pick some matches, eh?
Yeah, let's do that.
yeah. Let's do some picks. But Beef, you're getting super stumbly bumbly on your words there, buddy. You're getting all excited.
Crack open another one, Steve Weiser.
Oh,
I literally haven't touched it since we started recording. Like, that's how bad it is. Bad
Well-
sugar. Ugh.
you did. Yeah, you went with you did go with a Reds product. So you know. Anyway,
I have
all
a gin
right.
and tonic. The sugar in that is very low.
Yes, sir.
Like, I think for the rest of the week I might get some like actual beer flavored beer that actually is low in carbs, so I can actually drink and enjoy it.
Telling you,
Flavored
man.
beer.
Slightly mighty, buddy. Look for slightly mighty.
Yeah,
It's great.
I actually saw that on the list that has like 3 carbs per can. So yeah,
It's-
man, I might.
All right, enough of this insanity.
Yeah.
Let's do some picks.
All right, picks time.
Who's the scribe? Poot?
I got
No,
it.
Beef
Oh,
scribe.
beefy.
All right, so I'm just gonna run down. This is per the wiki. Although I did add the Raw Tag Team Title match because I think it's a lock. So, women's Money in the Bank. I need to actually pull up the participants to write them down.
You.
I know, right? Of course it didn't have it fucking saved. Oh my god, I'm failing.
Oh, you
there
are
it is.
no Tiger Bomb Tom.
I know. All right,
He is
women's
always
Money in the
prepared.
Bank. Asuka versus Baszler versus Nia Jax versus Dana Brooke versus Lacey Evans versus Carmella.
Lacey Elvins?
Yes, Lacey Evans, like Carrie Carrie Ellis, you know, like Robin Hood.
I'm gonna need you to take about 25% off this excitement there, Beef. Calm down. All right, I'm gonna stick with Baszler on this one. I was mulling it over and thinking Nia Jax because she just made her return. They want to make her, like legit monster, but legit monster doesn't need the contract. Although Braun got it, so who knows? But I'm gonna go with Baszler. I think Baszler would be super fucking interesting to have that.
Ransom.
I'm going to say Baszler too, because after she didn't pick up a win at Mania, I have a feeling that with her loss at Mania, and if she loses this Money in the Bank match, I don't know. What's the point of her coming up to? Are we still calling it the main roster? What is it? Raw, SmackDown? Like, what's the point? What's the point of bringing her
fucking
up in
sham
this
roster.
big,
Isn't that a
Yeah,
good-looking
and
question, Ransom?
in this big heat? Like, hey, look, we're taking this beast, Shayna Baszler from NXT. She killed everybody. And, now she's on Raw / SmackDown and lose. Ugh.
Oh, you mean like the War
Yeah.
Machine, or like Asuka, or like
Finn Balor.
the Ascension, or
Yeah.
Balor, or the Revival, or etc.
Oh, yeah. So, I don't know. Maybe it's a bad idea to pick Baszler because maybe
Right.
that's what's going to happen here. But I'm picking her because I want her to win. I want her to win this, and I want Baszler to be that dominance on the main roster. If she doesn't
Agreed.
win, I'm going to be so sad.
No, I can't believe I'm rooting for Baszler. Like I just like, again, if you would have talked to Beef 2 years ago, he probably would have slapped me in the face for rooting for Baszler. But
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely, would have.
man, she's grown on me. I'm gonna give you a dark horse though. Dana Brooke, she's been busting her hump. And she's made a lot of changes with how she looks. She's been training in the ring. She is doing everything that she can to be a better performer in a WWE ring. So it would not shock me if they rewarded that with the contract, but it is always better on the heel. So I am also going to agree that Baszler gets it, and it shouldn't even be close. And then I would hope that like Becky would be given some spiel at the actual Performance Center, and then Baszler would come out and cash in and fucking just break her arm.
Now hold on, I gotta ask you a
that.
question here before we go further, because what you said just there, Beef, it triggered a question in my head. Are they going to have two rings set up, one for women and one for men to climb, or are both briefcases going to be hung above the same ring?
Yep.
Yep. To which one?
That's
one ring. So, I it's been a while since I saw the set photo, but yeah, it's literally on top of the building. They have like a bunch of shrubbery surrounding it, and a crane holding up both contracts over one ring.
So you could potentially have the men and the women all at the same time clamoring to climb ladders in one ring.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I'm very okay with that. That could lead to a lot of hilarity.
Yep, agreed. So moving on to the men's Money in the Bank match. This is Daniel Bryan versus Mysterio versus Aleister Black versus King Corbin versus Otis versus AJ Styles. Ransom.
Oh boy. Oh. Well, I can't see it being Mysterio. I can't see it being Otis. Styles, Corbin, or Black. Oh,
or
damn.
Bryan.
Yeah, I don't know if they would give it to Bryan though. Like, I feel like his time in that WWE title picture has come and gone.
Who's in charge over there now? Over on SmackDown, that's Bruce, right?
What, Pritchard?
Mm-hmm.
He's in charge of one of them.
SmackDown.
I
Yeah,
think
because
it's SmackDown.
because Heyman's on Raw. So, it would not shock me to see Bruce Pritchard put faith in Daniel Bryan. Not that I'm trying to sway your vote here. I'm just
Bruce
saying
Pritchard can have
own.
all the faith he wants. It's Vince McMahon
Yeah.
it ultimately boils down to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like I'm going out on a limb here, but I'm going to go for it. I'm going to say Aleister Black.
Motherfucker.
Oh dear, I apologize. You called on me first, there, teacher.
I know. I tried to put a fucking semblance of order.
Swallow down that gobbledygook you got in your mouth and figure it out.
I'm glad you
Yeah.
called him out on it.
Sorry.
Nom.
My sugar's kind of low, so I had to get some. Probably not after drinking the fucking sugary beer. But I also picked Black, as if you couldn't tell by my motherfucker.
Jim Cornette.
He, as far as I know, has not lost on Raw, and outside of the SmackDown Tag Team Title match at WrestleMania 35, I don't know that he's lost on the main roster. So
Really?
they see big things for him, man. It's very clear that I think that they're really gearing something big for him. But it's the age-old thing, man. Like, faces with the briefcase just does not work. The only face it worked for was Rob Van Dam, because he was able to say, I'm going to cash in at ECW. Every other face who's held that briefcase, it's felt so weird, you know?
Yeah, I agree. It feels more fluid with the heel.
It does. Poot, what do you say? I know what you say, but what do you say?
I'm gonna go outside the box here, and
Rey Mysterio.
no, I was mulling over Corbin, but I feel like I don't feel like with anyone who has a belt right now, Corbin is a credible threat at all. I felt like the choices really were Bryan, Black, and Styles. And I wanted to say Aleister Black. I really did. But I'm going to go with AJ Styles because I feel like he has another title run in him. I think it would be interesting to, start giving him his own platform again instead of having him, and no offense to Gallows and Anderson, being kind of hindered by the club. I think AJ makes a good heel by himself. Whenever he's with other people, he's he kind of becomes like that bully from middle school, and it's just very unpalatable, in my opinion. So I'm going to go with Styles just because I think that he's got one more good run in him, and I think it would be interesting to see the belt or see him with the briefcase as well. But Black makes a lot of sense.
How
Only
wild would it
fucking-
be if they would have put the Money on the Bank on Baron Corbin after he had won the King of the Ring? Like, I mean, that
Let's not
really
talk
would
about it.
that would really, say that he's got a pretty much a good launch pad to.
Yeah, but the only reason they
Skyrocket.
gave him King of the Ring is so that they could continuously feed him to Roman Reigns.
Oh,
It was literally a vehicle to make him seem more important than he was, so that whenever Roman Reigns beat him 87 times, you were like, oh, well, at least Roman Reigns beat the King of the Ring.
Pretty much.
I mean, leave it to WWE to fuck up a perfectly on fire angle over in Japan in the club, and like make it seem like a middle school bully situation. And Poot, you're not wrong. Like I'm not like bashing on you. You're 100% right. That's exactly what it felt like. Japan gave WWE the Bullet Club literally, and Vince was like, nah, let's do something different.
Because it wasn't
that's
his.
typical
He
Vince
didn't come up
McMahon.
with
He
it.
didn't create it, so
Yep.
he sees nothing of
sure
value
is.
in it.
And we got to talk about Triple H tonight too.
Oh, yeah.
But okay, moving on. Braun versus Bray for the WWE Universal Title. I'm taking Bray. The Fiend, excuse me. It is Braun versus, I believe it's the Fiend.
It's not the Fiend.
It's not.
I know.
Wait, what?
It's
just Bray Wyatt.
It's just Bray Wyatt. Let's double check this.
no.
Let's double check this. Let's do some research. Let's all research on 3. 1, 2, 3, go. Ticket.
Technology. Stand by, everybody. We are doing research.
Yeah, it does not say.
It says.
Everywhere I'm reading says Bray Wyatt. So
It says not the. It says it looks like Bray Wyatt will be wrestling the match himself, the sweater version, not the Fiendy version.
okay.
So
Then I am okay. Thank you for that, because I'm gonna change my pick. Then it's gonna be Braun. Only because if so, let me put this caveat out there. If it is the Fiend, or if it in any incarnation becomes the Fiend during the match, I think the Fiend wins. But if it's just Braun versus Bray, Braun wins.
well, then basically we're gonna negate our pick for this one because I think everybody's gonna do that. I think everyone's gonna have that
I would agree
caveat.
with you on that, Beef. If
Like-
it's Bray Wyatt versus Braun, I think Braun goes over. But if it's the Fiend, I think the Fiend goes over.
I think they're gonna do. I think Bray Wyatt is gonna do something calculated with this. I think he's gonna do something a little like esoteric. I think he's gonna like. I could see him coming out and laying down for Braun Strowman, just like sacrificing it and going, "No, you be you," or like I don't know, some kind of weird jiggery pokery to like make it be like Braun's still the champion, but it was granted to him not he won it. You know what I mean?
Oh, it'll be like Hulk
So-
Hogan versus Jeff Jarrett all over again.
Oh my God! Or
Not-
Hogan versus Nash.
or Hogan
okay,
versus
so-
his marriage.
Oh, so let's go ahead and take the Fiend out of the equation then. Let's just call it Braun versus Bray.
Good.
And yes, in that case, I think that Braun is going to win. I think that he's going to beat Bray, setting up for the Fiend to swoop in and save the day at a later point.
Yep.
Yes, agreed.
I think that's pretty much straight across the board.
All right. Tamina versus Bailey Poot.
Look, man, I'm going to tell you something. Bailey is not super interesting with that belt, and I understand the only reason that that she would keep it is because they're setting up for Sasha Bailey.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there's going to be some weird jiggery pokery with Sasha Banks costing her the belt and kicking off that feud. So honestly, and I can't believe this is coming out of my face hole,
Oh my gosh,
I'm
no.
going to say Tamina.
Oh.
Ransom.
I'll say Bailey because I have no idea what would possess anybody to put the belt on Tamina. She doesn't strike me as a champion at all. But that probably means I'm going to be dead wrong. But I'm going to say Bailey.
I agree. It's got to be Bailey because they are setting up for the SummerSlam showdown between Bailey and Banks, and I think we might get an NXT style Bailey versus Banks at SummerSlam. But we got to get there first.
You think we're going to get an Iron Woman match?
I don't know, because I don't think that those have been well done on the main roster. But I think that you're going to get something akin to what they did at Brooklyn. I think that did they do Brooklyn 2 or just once? I don't remember. But anyway, my point is I think Bailey goes over. You're right though. Some shit's gonna go down with Sasha. I'm actually very surprised that she's not in the Money in the Bank match, which leads me
Is
to
she in the
if-
match at all?
If
she's not.
Oh my.
If Sasha was in the Money in the Bank match, I would have 100% picked Bailey. 100%. But I don't know, man. I'm deciding to go rogue on these picks. I'm just deciding to go off the grid. That's bitten me in the ass before, but you know what? I've had a good 1, 2, 3 time championship reign.
Well, and I mean, every time that you say, "Oh, I'm going crazy on the," you're always fucking right. So, Drew versus Seth for the WWE title. Ransom.
Drew.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I think it would be super stupid for them to take that belt off of him already.
Unless they believe that there is going to be a crowded stadium of 40 to 60 to 100,000 people within the next 3 months, which, Vince and Donnie are playing pocket pool together, so they, if anybody would know, it would be Vince McMahon. But, because then he would get to have his moment all over again. But, yeah, I mean, it's just, it would be so dumb for them to take it off of Drew only to give it back a few months later. The SmackDown Tag Team Championships, currently held by The New Day, defending against The Miz and Morrison, The Forgotten Sons, which is Steve Cutler and Jackson Riker and or Wesley Blake. It's not going to be Riker. Clearly, whoever updated the wiki has never watched NXT. It's going to be Steve Cutler and Wesley Blake, accompanied by Riker, and versus the Lucha House Party, which is Gran Metalik and Lindsay Dorado.
I can't believe that they have not done more with Jackson Riker. That man is every single dollar ever printed.
Oh.
He's good, but he's very green. He's very green.
That's fine. I don't care. He's brutal. He fits the mold. He moves pretty well. He looks like a Vince McMahon guy. It is shocking to me they have not done more with him. Shocking.
This is my pick, I guess. I'm picking the New Day only because it would be absolutely ridiculous for them to take the belts off of Miz and Morrison, put them on the New Day at WrestleMania, and then Did they win? Did New Day win at WrestleMania? Or did they win the SmackDown following? I don't remember. But it would be very, very, very dumb for them to kind of flip flop here. So I think that it's going to be. I think it's gonna be New Day.
Oh, it's absolutely going to be New Day. Because what are we getting close to, Beef?
A New Day?
We're getting close to the return of Mr. Xavier Woods.
Not the fucking Usos, that's for sure.
No.
Oh.
But yeah, we're
Yeah, I
getting
agree. It's going
like
to be New Day.
yeah. I think that actually, how close are we? Because I honestly could see, because Riker is probably going to be out there causing a kerfuffle. I mean, how close are we to Xavier Woods actually being back? Because he could come out and, be an equalizer.
Dude, when he went out, it was like fucking tears on faces. It was, people were acting like it was the end of his career. So, I mean, and that seems like it was only 6 months ago. I could be wrong about that, but I think we're still a ways off. But yeah, I mean, bottom line is the New Day just won the tag team titles less than a month ago.
Yeah.
So it's got to be the New Day to me. But what do you think? Are you picking New Day as well?
I said, yeah, New Day.
Finally, a match not yet.
What about
booked,
Ransom?
But
I said New Day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. In a match not yet booked, but I am reasonably assured that it's going to be on there. The Raw Tag Team Title match, which is the Street Profits, current champions, versus the Viking Warriors. Poop.
I think they should keep it on the Street Profits. I do. Like, they're entertaining. They sell merch. People love them. They're even excelling during this empty arena era. Like, you know what I mean? Why not keep them on them? Seriously.
So I'm almost lapping back around myself to where I think that they should change the Viking Warriors name back to the Viking Experience, because at least that was interesting. The Viking Warriors is so fucking bland and pedantic and just so 80s,
They should just let them be fucking War Machine. I'm sorry.
Right? Here comes the axe, here comes the smasher, we demolition, the walking disaster. That's what the Viking Warriors scream to me. And it's a combination of their name, their gear, and how they reference them. They have gimmicked them and in a bad way. But War Machine was one of the most fucking feared tag teams in the world. Not 2 years ago. Anyway.
Vince McMahon equals ruined.
Oh my god. In so many ways. Why do people still give him chances? I get it. WWE is the quote unquote top of the mountain. That they're the golden ring. That they're, the standard of excellence. But my god. Hopefully, after the release of these 32 people here a month ago, people will wise up and see that it's not all fucking worth it to go there. And sometimes, like AJ Styles, it clicks and you get to be you and you do a wonderful job at it. Sometimes you're Ricochet and you get to be you and you're promised only the greatest of things, and then they piss in your fucking Wheaties.
I don't understand. Well, actually, I do understand. It's because Vince looked at AJ Styles and he said, "You're my pit bull." He looked at AJ Styles and he saw money. He looked at Ricochet and he saw a gimmick, which is just the most irresponsible, shitty thing in the world.
Anyway, I'm grandstanding.
Yeah.
I apologize. Viking Raiders, Viking Warriors, Viking War Machine. I don't fucking know what their name is anymore. Give me Hanson and Rowe as the new Raw Tag Team Champions. Ransom?
I'm going to say Street Profits.
All right. And I mean, that's not a bad choice, but given the tear that the Raiders have been on and the fact that they beat the Profits cleanly last Monday, and usually it goes one of two ways. If you beat somebody cleanly in a non-title match, that's either a foreboding, sense of defeat in the future, or it is a sign of things to come. So we'll see. But that's Money in the Bank. We'll see how it all plays out this Sunday live on the WWE Network.
Live.
So, the thing, the theme of the night so far seems to be talking about how much Vince McMahon has really fucking screwed up a lot of people. And a lot of gimmicks that existed, and the characters, even wrestlers that existed outside of WWE that were seemingly sure handoffs that they butt fumbled away. So
Butt fumbled.
Yeah, man. Mark Sanchez, look it up.
No one likes a good
man.
butt fumbling.
It's bad news. Anyway, as of last night, Triple H dropped over $1 million of stock in WWE. And now again, we're here to speculate because we are the talking heads. Like, that's what we do. But
Man,
to
we're
me,
a great band.
right? No, not at all. Not at all. They were okay. I would not use the term great for them. Anyway, to me, that is like even the rats getting off the ship. And that's not like belittling Triple H. I'm saying like we're to the point where like either Triple H knows something or Triple H has realized this ain't gonna get any better anytime soon. I need to get the hell out.
So, but let me step in here with a devil's advocate. Yes, he sold, what was it, $1 million worth of stock.
Yeah.
Around, yeah.
But when you look at the actual amount of stock that he has in WWE compared to what he sold, is it enough to make you stand up and go, ooh? Or is it like, well, yeah, it was $1 million, but what he's still got, that $1 million was a drop in the bucket. I didn't research that to know how much he's got left or how much he had originally to say, is this a big deal, or is this just like I want to buy this new vacation house, so I'm just going to dump off this little bit, but I still got a shit ton over here.
I think it's, well, even if it is, it could very well be something as simple as like, maybe because of their lifestyle and maybe because of lack of money, and things that are, them having to tighten their belts. Maybe he literally took it out as, okay, we're going to set this aside just in case things really go south. Then at least we have money to get us through until we find new jobs. Him and Steph and their kids. So, like,
I would have to imagine the amount of money that Triple H makes a year and Stephanie makes a year, that $1 million worth of shares, probably not that much.
Okay, so here it is. Triple H sold 23,255 shares of the company stock. Triple H still has 144,000. So you are 100% right, Ransom, that like that was literally not even
a drop in the bucket. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, anything is possible, but to me, like,
there it was again.
I know, right?
Nah.
No, man.
Yeah, man.
It feels like it's one thing or another. Like, and you know what? Maybe Triple H just has like savvy financial planners who are like, you know what? The stock is dipping. The stock market is dipping real hard right now. Might be a good idea to get out, or at least pull some of the stock out, and liquidate those assets. I don't know. We're not financial people. Go fucking watch JBL for that. But,
Actually, very smart dude.
Yeah, man. To me, again,
Nah.
I don't know. Like,
Do you still see it as a oh no,
Oh yeah.
or like a premonition of something?
While that's not a drop in the bucket, I think it's also telling. You know, because if you're all in, excuse the pun, if you're all in on a company and you believe in its success and the long game, if Triple H believed that WWE was going to turn this around and the stocks were going to go back up for WWE, wouldn't you hold on to that? Even the paltry, as much as it pains me to say that, even the paltry amount of $1 million, you know, about less than an eighth of the stock. Again, I get it, but I mean, like, when that $1 million could be $4 million down the road, you know, 2 years down the road, yeah, maybe we're just getting hopeful. But here is the thing: it seems awfully coincidental to be occurring like 2 weeks after Zeb Coulter, old Dirty Dutch, drops the news that Vince is actively shopping the WWE. So and that could play into it too, because rumors of a sale are going to hurt your stock too. So maybe Triple H is like, oh man, it's going to dip real hard. Let's get this amount out now, so at least we know we have this.
Yeah, but that's something that's a rubber. Sorry, Ransom.
No, that's right.
That's a rubber drop, man. Like rumors of something being sold, it would dip, and it might even be considered in the ballpark of a substantial dip. But that's immediately going to come back when it's apparent that they're not going to sell. Like, there's no reason to panic. You know, that's like an elephant panicking in a mouse. You know what I mean? Like, there's no reason to. It's either because he's being savvy or there's some fuckery afoot.
So let me play devil's advocate again. If there was some kind of fuckery afoot, don't you think it would be reported that more than Triple H is dumping stock? Like, wouldn't Vince has sold stock before? Like, wouldn't Vince be selling Stephanie, Pritchard, like all these guys who are, you know, dug into WWE?
No, because then Triple H doing it is one thing, but that's also, by the way, the textbook definition of insider trading.
Well, okay, but let's not forget about several governors about 2.5 months ago dropping tons of stock. You know what? Like, yeah, that is insider trading 100%, but you'd be a fool to believe that doesn't happen on a daily basis.
Beef, you're taking it as I'm saying that, oh my God, that's an abomination. I'm not. I'm just saying that it's like, you know, I'm just pointing out the fact. That's it.
Right. No, I get it, but I'm like, my point is, if it was circling the drain, don't you think we would hear of more than just Triple H selling shares?
I mean, isn't it circling the drain though? Like, how else? So, it's a broad definition. The drain under
Vince McMahon. Yeah, that's true.
It's a broad definition, but like, how else do you describe lowest ratings of all time and continuing to plummet? Like, so let's take the sale off the table for a minute and just talk about the status of WWE, where the in-ring product, like I said, is suffering without fans. And it's clear that it does not have to. All you need to do is tune into NXT or AEW and see that it's possible to put on good to great matches
great
without
bros.
an audience. You know,
But,
and they're two completely different shows showing you how to do it. But WWE has not adapted. The old man has not adapted at all.
I was gonna say it's not that's the other thing. It's not WWE. it's Vince McMahon. It keeps coming back to him and his insanity. Like it does, seriously. Like I wish I could laugh about that, but it's absolutely 100% true.
It's not even insanity. Like we've heard the rumors of fuck it Vince being around. I almost want to see that because my God, it might spice things up.
Yeah, not in a good way though. Not in a good way.
I don't care. Good, bad, indifferent. Something needs to happen because Vince McMahon is so strong-headed, so strong-willed, so bullheaded that he is refusing to adapt to a climate that absolutely necessitates it.
Well, and
that's like standing out in the middle of a blizzard in a pair of shorts, knowing you have a pair of pants in your backpack, saying, fuck it. It's the sun's going to come out at some point.
The reason that
because the sun has come out before.
The reason that McMahon is doing that though is because history has shown him that he's right. He whenever shit like this happens, he hunkers down and he bull rushes forward with the same plan, and he's always come out the other side. It's always been that.
That's the thing. When they beat Nitro, it wasn't because the new generation stars were finally starting to shine. It wasn't because Michaels and Hart took them to a level unbeknownst to them. It was because the writing was they took a lot of risks on the writing. It was a very high risk, high reward environment. And again, we've talked at length, and it is well documented, that I think that the Attitude Era is overblown. Because you can watch an episode of Raw, and yeah, like we all have those memories from Raw that stick out 20 years, 30 years, 20 years later. I'm dating myself here, sorry. That stick out 20 years later to us. These moments in time that are absolute history. But there was also a lot of bad. Remember Beaver Cleavage? Remember Goldust in a neon green outfit with the ball gag in his mouth?
Remember
Puke? Yeah, there was a lot of bad. So like they took a lot of risk that paid off for them. I don't want to say luck, because the guys who took them there busted their hump to get them over Nitro. But it's because they went away from the same tired old formula. To me, what we're seeing now is the same thing that we saw in 2002 with John Cena and Randy Orton. Like, it's a new set of characters, but it's the same old, same old. And like, in order to beat Nitro, they had to adapt, they had to change, and they had to evolve. In order to beat COVID, I think that they're going to have to do the same thing, or hope that it ends a lot quicker than a lot of people think it's going to. Or sell high. Like, while you still think that there is some value left in the company, sell. Because I'm telling you, if Vince would have sold prior to WrestleMania, he would have gotten way more money than he would right now. Because, again, the Raw ratings are in the tank of the tank of the tank. 2 weeks straight and getting lower. Now
really?
It's not the time to sell.
2 weeks straight low.
Yeah, well, yeah, this week is lower than last week, and last week was a record low, which means that this week is also a record low.
Yikes.
So I think the Vince might actually be considering a sell because he sees the writing on the wall. And then again, it's nothing... Okay, it's... Some of it is his fault. He's not blameless. But he could have stuck to his guns and, done the Vince McMahon thing. And had COVID not happened, would still be lining his pockets with $100 bills. Now, since... the weaknesses have been exposed, I think that he's in a point where he's like, you know what, this might be the time. And I'm the alarmist of the podcast, okay? And I get that that's my role. I'm the guy who I'm the guy who jumps to every gun. I'm the guy who thinks he's reading the fucking tarot cards. I get that. So, me saying, Triple H is selling a stock, that means that they're selling the WWE. is alarmist. But again, that's best for business. Is me saying these outlandish things, whether or not I believe them to be true, is irrelevant.
So what you're saying is you're the Alex Jones of our podcast.
Oh, gay frogs.
I mean,
What? No, you.
I don't know if he's the Alex Jones. He's definitely the doomsday, the doomsday guy of the cult.
The doomsayer.
I like to think of myself. I like to think of myself as Jerry Springer. I enact moments of random atrocity, good or bad, But my point remains.
The thing is, we never get your final thought. That's the problem.
We used to, until the entire show was a legendary letdown. So there's no point in giving a legendary letdown when the entire show is to me, it portends poorly when one of your VPs is or chief marketing, whatever the fuck he is dumping an eighth of his stock. Again, it's not the end of the world, but I'm saying the doomsday clock has moved to 3 minutes to midnight.
So look, as the doomsdayer, can I ask you a question that's on a different level than this?
You may, but I just, I had a tailor-made, go ahead. What's up?
I mean, are you done with this? Are you done with this line of thinking?
Yeah, I was moving on to another thought, but go on.
So this probably won't be real quick, so keep that other thought in the chamber, because I'm sure we'll be moving on to it here pretty quick. Speaking of people that aren't on the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, when do you think we'll hear about or see Roman Reigns again? Do you think it's going to be, okay, we're not going to see him until there's a vaccine and people are vaccinated and then he's coming back? I mean, is it going to be that long that Roman Reigns is going to be out?
I think, you know what? I will give my thought after Beef, because I know he's going to go 1.5 miles on this one.
I honestly believe that there are some hurt feelings. And I don't think
both sides or one side?
One side, on WWE's side. I don't think that's fair, because, and again, the alarmists, we all know me, because this is literally life and death for people that have conditions that could put them as such. And the fucking Miz came to work at WrestleMania sick. We don't know if it was COVID. We don't know if it was something else. It was probably
never
COVID.
Confirmed. That was never confirmed that he actually had the Rona.
Carmella and Corey Graves definitely had it. That's been confirmed. But the Miz showed up sick. So, to me, that just enforces Reigns' decision to say, you know what? Nope, I ain't doing that. I have a family, and I think that he's honestly eyeing up a career in cinema as well, like his cousin Dwayne. He's gonna start branching out. So he made a decision that was good for him. But on the other side of it, WWE had basically been grooming him for 6.5 years, saying, you're our guy, this is it, we're going to have you beat fucking Goldberg, that's how much of a guy that you are going to be. You are so much of our guy, we're going to take the belt off of this blazing hot talent just to protect you. Him dropping out at the 11th hour on WWE had to sting. And we know the old man. He likes to hold a grudge like none other. Yes, to answer your question, I think it will be until at least that we have a vaccine, or until the rates have been, right now they're still around 20. They're between 18 and 32,000 a day. Which I guess is technically flattening the curve, but I think it's going to have to be far lower than that for him. From a health perspective, yes, but the other side of it is from the company perspective. When are they going to want to put him back on TV? When are they going to want to put him in another major angle? And to be fair, and this is nothing against Roman, but this is the second time that his health has absolutely destroyed a tailor-made push for him. He beat Lesnar and then had to relinquish the title because of his leukemia. And then he took himself out of this situation because of the COVID. So to me, you can only trust a quarterback that gets hurt all the time so many times before you just move on. And you say, all right, kid, you may not be the next Roman Reigns, but we're trusting you. So given that the mandate, and this has been reported as a mandate, that his name is not to be uttered on a program, that they've erased him from footage that they've shown otherwise, I think this is going to be an odyssey. I'll put it to you like that. What do you think, Poot?
I mean, I'm going to pose a devil's advocate to all this. I think instead of being upset about it, I think this is very calculated. I think what they're doing, it was very public what Roman did. In the sense of saying, I'm not coming in, I'm not wrestling, I'm not doing this. Very close to the big show and everything like that. I think what they're doing is they're going, all right, we're not happy about this, but maybe this is the perfect opportunity to finally get the Roman Reigns that we want, i.e., the one that always gets cheered. It's very public that WWE has said, hey, we're not talking about him. We're not doing this. We're not doing that. He's stricken from the records, not in video packages for anything. We're Dunyan rings with him. You know what I mean? So the fact that they're doing that is, I think, and that it's very public, is very, 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 very kayfabe. I think it's meant to make people forget about Roman. I think it's meant to make people like kind of push him on the back burner and everything like that. And it's honestly a way I guess in a way to protect him. That might be kind of weird to say, but I honestly think that it's all part of the show. I do. I think that they are keeping him away and keeping him gone. So when he does make his return, probably inevitably when there is a crowd, he'll actually get a pop and he'll actually be welcomed with open arms, and people will actually be able to be, or actually will want to see him and actually want him to be there and do his thing. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe the doomsayer over here is correct. But I think it's all part of the show. They have invested too much money, time, effort, and energy into Roman to just throw him aside because he's worried about his health. Plus, that makes WWE look really shitty and vindictive, even more so than they are. Oh, this guy's looking out for his health because of this, that, and the other thing. And looking out for his family and looking out for the longevity of his career, whether it's in WWE or film or some other industry, and having them do that is wildly, wildly, wildly irresponsible and shitty of them, and it will make them look bad. Yeah, so I think it's all part of the shtick.
I would tend to think that, and I don't know, again, I agree with both of you on a level. I agree with you, Poot. If they keep him off for a while and he comes back, just like when he came back from the leukemia thing, the first time he came out, it was a thunderous applause. Everybody was happy to see him, even people that were booing him before.
And they had a foothold that if they would have booked him right, he would have just kept getting cheers. Yeah,
but I also agree with Beef. Vince, Vince can be vindictive. But you would think and again, we're talking about Vince McMahon here, but you would think if you were thinking of it from a logical business standpoint, like you said, with all of the time and money and effort that they've pumped into him, like being the next guy, being the next John Cena type guy, you would think that they would play the long game with him and not say, well, okay, you're worried about your health. We're going to blackball you because you pulled out of WrestleMania and you fucked us. I would think it would make more business sense to say, you know what, let's play the long game with Roman Reigns. Let's let him take care of his health. That way, once all this goes away, or, gets at least vaccinated a little bit, because let's face it, COVID's never going away completely. But once people are allowed back in arenas and, bulk of the scare is over, we have a vaccine and things are starting to work well again, then we'll bring him back. That's the long game. And I would think that has to cross someone's mind to say, hey, man, we've invested so much in this dude. Let's take care of him. Let's take care of his health. And then we'll bring him back and he'll be bigger than ever.
Yeah, man.
But again, I could be dead wrong. And like Beef said, it could be Vince McMahon being cranky and angry about it. Like, oh, you pulled out of WrestleMania and you screwed us. So now you're blackballed. It really could go either way. And it's hard to tell because it all boils down to one man. And who the hell knows what is going through his head.
And I think what goes through his head is constantly changing too. That's what makes it so impossible to predict is that he's literally all over the map on a single day.
And that's the thing. He was super high on. We talked about it before. He was super high on Ricochet, and then literally one day he was like, "Nah, I'm done with him."
Yep. Same with Cedric Alexander. Heyman had and I think Heyman started to build these guys back up as a tag team. Ricochet and Cedric
Alexander. Cedric
the Entertainer. Oh wait, no, that's not right.
Anyway,
well, he is an entertainer.
Heyman is starting to build these guys back up, and hopefully we'll do something with them. But yeah, I mean, Cedric was Vince's new toy. That he fucking he boned, not literally of course, but I just it is what it is. We're going to be under McMahon law for at least the foreseeable future. Maybe not. Maybe he sells to Disney. Who knows? So one thing that I'm not sad about, and one thing I'm very excited about, is the debut of Mr. Killer Karrion Kross on NXT.
Yeah, how was that?
So, oh man, there are not enough superlatives.
Wow.
As a guy, so I've never watched him really. I know Scarlett Bordeaux tangentially, so I
would.
am okay.
That one's for you,
I
Tom.
think everybody, yeah, but
has actually.
Oh, hurtful. But I'm aware of their existence. But last night was the first time that I ever set eyes on the two of them together, and it just screams money. Hashtag fall and pray. He is going to be a force of fucking nature in NXT.
So long as he stays on NXT.
Yeah, right. Well, and with Scarlett, who knows how long that's going to last. Which they dropped her last name because I imagine Impact probably owns.
Is
which
she
is a bummer
just
because,
Scarlett?
Yeah.
God, for fucking. Just pay them the goddamn money. I'm so tired of them dropping names of people when their names are so good. Scarlett is so generic and so stupid.
Scarlett Bordeaux had a touch of class to it as well.
It just son of a bitch. I hate it.
But
sorry.
And Killer Cross, we understand because AJ Styles can't call his move the Calf Killer anymore. It's the Calf Crusher. You can't have a guy named Killer because you're a Fortune 500 publicly traded company. That doesn't look good on you. I understand that. So Karrion is a great name too, and I'm a fan of Karrion Kross. I think that the name is good. And I think that the vibe that they give off is 100% awesome. I meant to send you guys it was literally like a 3-minute video, half of which was their entrance. It's a great theme, which like involves Scarlett was like pantomiming the words as she was coming out. I don't know if she was actually singing them or whatever, but like she was like pantomiming it like to the nines. It was complete black and white, and like smoke was filling the arena. So like, you know, the smoke show. You got the reference without being beat over the head with it. And then like it like dropped into like this like crazy heavy metal like like new metal, like just power fucking fuck you in the face. And like
I could just see Beef sitting in his chair bouncing up and down like a kid and foaming at the mouth at this.
Oh, it was great, man. The whole fucking thing was great. And then he got in the ring. Obviously, it was a squash match. He dropped this dude on his fucking head with two Saito suplexes, which I guess they're calling the Doomsday Side. I don't know. I forget what the Morrow called it. But and then he snapped on what looked to be like a combination chicken wing, dragon sleeper type thing. It was a very cool submission move. I had to go back and rewatch because I thought it was just like a generic sleeper. I'm like, oh good, fucking Samoa Joe 2.0. Not that there's anything wrong with Joe, but I fucking hate the Kakina clutch. Anyway, but it is a very unique looking submission move that the dude like tapped to immediately and then like passed out to like 2 seconds later. The way that everything was handled was amazing. So like the writing is on the wall that his first major feud is going to be with Ciampa, and I feel like Ciampa is going to do him the honors, and it's just going to put a rocket on his back, because if they keep that presentation like they did last night, like, you know, TikTok Doomsday is here, fall and pray, because that's going to be the way of things. Check it out. It's worth 3 minutes of your time. To go. It's literally like the entrance, and then it shows like quote unquote clips of the match, which are literally two Saito suplexes and the submission.
I am so upset that it's not just on the WWE Network anymore, because, like I said, I can't watch it probably till tomorrow. So that's
on YouTube. It's
YouTube.
Okay, well, right. I'm YouTube, and I mean, you know, NXT continues to do good. The C1 is good stuff. Tozawa is 2-0, which is fucking weird. But I think it's because they're gonna show Kushida being dominant in the A block, and I think that El Fantasmo. Help me, Pete. What is it? Hideo de Fantasma?
Perhaps.
Could
sorry,
be.
the Lucha Bros. Or not Lucha Bros. The fucking de Hermanos de los Luchas. They would probably hate me for getting that wrong.
Hermanos Lucha?
But that's the one. But you know, I think that he's gonna be a guy that's gonna like come back and get it, like pull the wind from the jaws of defeat, as it were. So I think we're still looking at Kushida versus De Fantasma, but I think it's going to be a different route to get there. But most importantly, the matches are great, which is ultimately the goal. And then Charlotte had her first defense. No. Second defense was, I don't remember if the Mia Yim match was the title defense or not, to be honest, but she defended against Io Shirai last night in a decent match. She lost because she hit Shirai with the kendo stick, and Shirai was starting to gain momentum. And then Rhea Ripley came back and looked like a house of fire, and good to see Rhea Ripley back. That's exciting. And then Cole versus Dream was good. And Cole retained, which I think is the best thing for NXT right now. And yeah, but you know, they're putting on quality shows. And then last night, AEW was back in Daly's place, which is where they had been filming prior to going to that like little room in fucking Georgia where they were filming. And like they had their like pretty much all of the roster spaced out like along like different sections of the crowd. And it really made a difference, and it really felt good to see them back in a bigger arena, and it definitely brought a bigger fight feel, and it ended in a match that I think was more of a it was kind of a hybrid. It wasn't the cinematic the whole time, but it also wasn't like strictly in ring. It was a little of both. That involved 3 Matt Hardy wardrobe changes, where he like came out of Damascus, went to the back, came out in like the black baggy jeans and like the tight blue shirt as like Matt Hardy, and then they dumped him in like a dumpster, and it came back out as like broken Matt Hardy Damascus whatever, and then also included him and Kenny Omega running down Sammy Guevara in a golf cart. And what was basically vehicular manslaughter. It was good stuff.
I saw that clip.
And then at the very end, the Inner Circle won, and Jericho and the rest of the Inner Circle were like posing in front of TD Bankery. I don't remember the name of the Jags, the Jag Stadium, but basically like Daly's Place has a concession stand area that like leads into the stadium proper. So like the Inner Circle was standing at like the entrance of like one of the gateways into the stadium, so you could see the stadium behind them, and like the Inner Circle like banner was on the big scoreboard in the back behind them. It was a great shot, and it was a fun match. So Jake the Snake was back. He dropped a Python on Brandy last night. Good stuff from AEW and NXT. Which again, leads me to say, what the fuck, Raw and SmackDown? Why can't you figure it out?
Well, it's because the Raw and SmackDown, they have so many more moving parts. Like, it has been well documented, again, to borrow a term here, that AEW has all the freedom in the world, like wrestlers, the production, like everyone seems to be on the same page and willing to listen to ideas. That's not how it works in WWE. And that's why they have the freedom and are able to put on more entertaining things and things that are more unique and might hold on to you instead of just going, no, this is the way we've done things and this is how we're going to keep doing them forever and ever. Amen. Like, that's why they can do it. So, I mean, I get it. I also think it's because they're so new, they have the freedom to do that because, yeah, they've established themselves of what they are, but they have the ability to be more flexible. There's nothing that's like expected. They don't have, lifelong fans that might be upset by the way that things are being done now during this COVID-19 thing. You know what I mean? They can just do as they see fit and people go, whoa, how innovative. And rightfully so. But I think that's why their product is more interesting and fun to watch versus WWE. That again, devil's advocate here. Belch. What do you think?
Yes,
I agree.
Yeah, okay.
No, that's a salient point
with that silence that was there. I thought you guys were standing there going, "How fucking dare you?"
Yeah. No, you're 100% right, man. Like with nothing to lose, you have only to gain. And it floors me that, like, again, as a business model, I think that AEW is showing Vince McMahon how the XFL could have survived, the first year. Because, again, the COVID is a big fucking deal. It's taking a lot of money out of a lot of people's pockets, and I understand that, and we're not trying to downplay that at all. But, like, the XFL was fully funded for 3 years. There's no reason that Vince couldn't have gone, let's ride it out. versus what he did was just basically close up doors and say, you know what, we're done. AEW, Tony Khan, again, he's like, you know what, let's ride out, let's see what happens. Their ratings are staying consistent, as are NXT's, because again, there was a pretty big drop initially. They were both, I think AEW was just under 1 point whatever, like 1.01 or like a 0.9 rating weekly, and NXT was right around like the 0.7 mark. They both dipped to like about a 0.6, but it's more or less even at this point. And they haven't been going down; they've been going up. So, you know, to me, it's just like, you know, fucking figure it out. Because yeah, I get it, but just sometimes take a chance, even if it seems absolutely ridiculous. Which is why I'm excited about Money in the Bank, and I'm excited about the Money in the Bank ladder match, is because they're taking a chance. It could be good, it could be bad, it could be somewhere in between. A lot of people could love it, a lot of people could hate it. Who knows? We're not going to know till we see it on Sunday. But you know, fortune favors the bold. And like I said, man, you know, doing nothing, doing what they've always done, has done nothing but sink their ratings the last 2 weeks. So we'll see. Oh, and I will mention, because I mentioned at the top of the show a little bit, AEW Double or Nothing coming up at the end of the month. Good card coming together, which does include a casino ladder match for a future world title shot. Sounds a lot like Money in the Bank. We'll see if they are treating it like that. As well as the main event of Brody Lee, a.k.a. Luke Harper, versus Jon Moxley, a.k.a. Dean Ambrose. As well as Lance Archer versus Cody for the first ever TV champion.
So you were saying
well, who's the
that...
champion they're fighting for, Beef?
Sorry, the TV championship. Excuse me.
So you were saying earlier that it's...
Start calling it. Yeah.
What did you call it? The failed WWE matches?
Yeah, exactly. Like AEW presents failed WWE that we're going to make work.
I feel like that's a very cynical way to look at it. That's a very cynical way. No, I know that, but like you're being huffy for no reason. Like,
no, I'm not saying it's a bad thing with AEW. Like, so TNA clearly had a lot of fucking talent. At one time coming through their doors, guys like CM Punk, guys like Xavier Woods, guys like AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Kurt Angle, Christian, etc. Booker T, Kevin Nash, the list goes on and on. TNA had a habit of putting WWE guys first, old WWE guys first, because they thought that it mattered. They thought that, hey, if we pull talent from the big dog, we'll make ourselves look better.
Big dog.
I'm not trying to compare AEW to TNA. I'm saying that AEW is saying, hey, you threw out this half a pizza and these 3 hamburgers. We are going to combine them and make an awesome cheeseburger pizza. Look at this awesome cheeseburger pizza that you threw out because of your ineptitude. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to be cynical of AEW. I'm trying to be cynical of the WWE. AEW is going to put out...
That makes sense then.
Yes.
A great show.
That line of thinking makes sense, because when you look back and say, okay, what matches have been in AEW that were strictly between old WWE guys? You have Cody and Dustin. That was a fantastic match.
Yep.
You had Jericho and Moxley. That was another amazing match. And with the way AEW has been going, I have a hard time seeing where these two matches that are quote-unquote failed WWE matches, I have a hard time seeing them being nothing but good.
Wouldn't shock me, by the way, if we got Jericho and Matt Hardy, too, in a probable cinematic match at the Hardy compound, which, again, I'm fine
Wouldn't hate it.
Right.
At all.
So
yeah, they could knock it out of the park with that.
They sure and like just the vignettes that they've done together. where like Jericho tried to put a fucking mini-sized T-shirt on Vanguard 1.
Oh god, that was
like,
hilarious.
Jericho wearing leather pants and a fucking
Pool.
hot tub and getting called out for it. He's like, yeah, I did it because I can do it. Like, it just fucking works. There's a gif of last night where Jericho grabs the orange cone, puts it on his like an orange traffic cone, puts it on his head, and cackles like the Wicked Witch of the West. Like, that is one of the most fucking dated references you're gonna make, and it works because he's Chris Jericho.
Well, and that's
the man could like poop gold.
Jericho has the freedom to be that. He could, yeah. And Beef, you said it exactly right. The man just shits gold. Like, anything that comes out of his mouth is immediately over. He just has and frankly, he's earned it. I mean,
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, I truly believe that the Moxley Brody Lee match is probably going to steal the show. I think it's probably going to be a gangbuster of a match.
No man.
No man.
To me, yeah.
Nah. Nah.
To me,
Nah.
no man. To me,
Nah.
I'm just saying that it's going to be
No, it's all of them.
Exactly. I forgot the other one. Here's the thing. No, man. Here's the thing. To me,
Nah.
to me, it's going to be Lance Archer versus Cody. I think
You think that's going to be better than Brody and Moxley?
Dude. Cody has put on some of the best matches, and he's like an undersung hero. And Lance Archer, like, right now, he's printing money. And with Jake the Snake back in his corner, like, what Lance Archer's not giving you, Jake the Snake is giving you in spades. The two of those guys work together like fucking butter and popcorn, man. It's amazing. So, like, I am super stoked for that match. What about you, Pootsky? What do you think?
Yes.
Okay.
But I mean, I honestly think, I really do. I really think that I'm gonna have to, go with Brody Lee. I almost called him his what we'll say his slave name.
Right.
Now, John Moxley. I think it's gonna be that, man. Like, it's just because we know we said so many times before how good Brody Lee is, how good he is, and how good Moxley is. It's gonna be a barn burner. It has to be, because if it's not, if the first match that Brody Lee has doesn't deliver, it will take away all the legitimacy from him.
The first big match, yeah. He's had a couple squash matches already.
Yeah,
but
I don't count those. Like, I just don't. I'm sorry.
No,
but my point is.
What's your point here, Poot?
My point is that, like, I think that is going to be the one that's going to steal the show. A lot of people think that because Cody's in a match, and no offense to Lance Archer, okay, I think because people think Cody's in the match, oh, that's going to be the highlight match, because that's what Cody does. He puts on these emotional matches, and I'm not taking that away from Cody. It's absolutely true. He absolutely does, and he deserves all the credit in the world. But I think we're going to get our filet mignon again. Not saying it's a bad thing, but we're going to get it again. This time, I really think that it's going to be Moxley and Lee stealing the show. I really do.
I'm interested to see where the Bucks land. I'd be okay with another match with them and Proud and Powerful. So I'm very bummed. So again, I don't mean to sound coarse or like shallow to a point or even selfish, but like one of the biggest bummers of the whole COVID and wrestling thing to me has been Death Triangle. So they were setting up the three-man group of the Lucha Bros and I almost called him a slave name, the Bastard Pack. Like they are missed. Like I look at the show and I say, man, what a great show if they could be there. You know, so like they're missed. Hangman Page has been AWOL. I wonder if either he has something going on, like concussion wise, or if he has the COVID or had the COVID or has a situation where he's very susceptible to it, because he has not been around at all since they moved away from like the arena's full of people.
Huh.
I don't
Which
think
is
I
a bummer
realized that.
because, well, I mean, it sucks because, I mean, Kenny Omega is doing everything he can to keep those titles relevant, and to, like, you know, keep them in the zeitgeist, because he's fucking Kenny Omega and that's what he does. But yeah, I mean, Hangman is probably the workhorse, no pun intended, of AEW, and like him being gone sucks. So I'm really hoping that we get to see him soon, and Pac and the Lucha Bros. I want to see those guys back on television sooner rather than later, because as much as it's giving them a chance to focus on other guys like the Best Friends and Orange Cassidy, but yeah, I mean, also
Where has Pac been?
You know, England, because Donnie has said no flights in, no flights out. I don't know how the fuck they got the I don't know how the fuck they got Eichner and oh my god,
Bartel.
Struggling.
Marcel Bartel. They got them in, from what I understand, and this could very well be conjecture, they got them in because they live in the U.S., and they go over there to film.
Okay. Okay, so they're, okay, gotcha. That makes sense. But, like, you know, guys, like, who are not from the United States, Rhea Ripley's another one who I'm glad is here. But, like, you know, there are plenty of international performers who are being hampered by this, and I think that Pac and the Brothers Lucha lie among those in the heap.
No, and that's the thing. I was actually perusing Pro Wrestling Tees today. I'm gonna pick up a Jackson Argos shirt, as you should too. Support your local indies, folks. But I was looking at the AEW stuff, and the Death Triangle shirt is fucking awesome. It is, dude, so good.
They have some killer shirts. They have some killer shirts, and I might go on. I told Brittany at one point. I said that if we can, if we ever get to a point, I could probably spend like $100 on AEW shirts, easy.
So you'd be able to get two,
like 4. But like the Hangman Page shirt, with like the big horseshoe on it, I was a big fan of. There's a Kenny Omega shirt that I was really a big fan of. It's got like the it's almost like a kaiju, but it's like a robot. Like AEW, I mean, again, it's a t-shirt company. Like, fucking surprise, they do awesome shirts. So like, I could line my closet with AEW shirts for sure. But yeah, no, that's awesome that you're buying an Argo shirt, and I agree. Support the indies, support the local guys, break some love off for them, because
they need it.
They're a lot of them are technically gig workers, and gig workers are having a real fucked up time here in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So if you can break off some of that sugar for our friends over at IWC or Imagine or anywhere around, man, like, use some of that stimulus money to support your local indies. I'm sure they'd appreciate it.
Which I'm not trying to dive into a breaking kayfabe here, but raise your hands if you got your stimulus check.
I did, right away.
My hand's raised.
I didn't.
We got ours.
So
we got ours in.
Yeah,
like the beginning of April, I want to say, or maybe like mid-April.
So whenever they said that the first round of checks would be coming out, that's when we got ours. Poot, did you pay into taxes last year?
You mean did I do my taxes?
No, did you have to pay into your tax? So last year.
Christ alive, yes I did, because my boss fucked up my taxes.
Yep. So our in-laws, Britt and Maya's in-laws, are in the same situation. They had to pay into their taxes last year. They did not get it. I think that if you don't have a direct deposit set up with the IRS, that it's causing a lot of problems.
Great. That's what I like to hear.
So
yeah, a lot of people that don't have direct deposit are still waiting.
Yeah,
the actual paper checks are
because old baby hands needs to have his name on them. That's
what I've read.
Not trying to be too political here. Sorry, but no, it's just one of those things that I'm like, I don't do direct deposit, and it's not because I'm stubborn with technology. I love me technology, I do, but for me, there are some things that I like doing. You know, I just like doing as analog as possible. Like all my bills, like the only bills I pay online are my credit card bill and my phone bill, because it's just like it's just easier to do it that way. It's just easier.
Well,
but my health insurance, doing math with an abacus.
Thanks, man. My health insurance, my car insurance, like I still pay with checks or in some cases cash. Like I just like doing it that way.
I've talked to Brittany about this, and this is my whole take on the COVID thing and the state closure thing. Everybody's all fucking pissed off again because Governor Wolf just said that the red states are shut down till June the 4th, and everybody's fucking having a conniption. And okay, I get it. People should be allowed to have their freedoms. I agree. But here's the thing. With those freedoms also come consequences. So if your hairdresser's open up and you or your hairdresser come down with the COVID, don't then turn around and bitch about it online. Don't then turn around and expect my sympathy, my empathy. Because every decision made has a consequence to go with it. So, Poot, you decide to not enroll in direct deposit. That's your freedom to make that decision. But now that decision has had a severe consequence to where you have not gotten your stimulus in 8 weeks that we had, at the beginning of April. So, and that's kind of my whole tact of the COVID thing, because I'm fucking sick and tired of debating people about it. I have my feeling, and I'll tell you right now, ransom's on the entire other side of the road.
Yep.
So, and that's fine, because you're my best friend, man. And Bob is like kind of more towards your side. He's a guy that I really respect and I think is really intelligent. So I'm done trying to categorize it as like smart people and stupid people, because that's not the case. I just want people to understand that when the state opens and when you are free to move about the country, understand that there are consequences for those decisions, and that those of us who are being, and again, I could be 100% wrong, and it could phase out by fucking September, or it could drop to minimal whatever. But at the same token, and if that's the case, hey, I'll own it, and I'll laugh and I'll have a beer, and man, I was a crazy dick about that. But
look, I think let me chime in here for a minute.
Yeah, you go right ahead, buddy.
I think your stance, it's skewed is not the right word. Influenced. I think your stance is primarily influenced because you and the bulk of the people that you consider loved ones or family are in what is classified as high risk.
Right.
Now, let's just preface this in a little bit of reality and say, not everybody that is high risk that gets the corona is going to die.
Right.
That's illogical. But I think your view is based primarily because you, Brittany, your parents, maybe Brittany's parents, I don't know, you're in that classification of high risk, asthma, diabetes, underlying health issues, things like that. Whereas, generally me, aside from being out of shape, which I'm trying to remedy, I'm not classified as high risk. So the probability that I get the COVID and die is low. The amount of people who have gotten it and have gone through it, I believe, is much higher than the amount of people that have gotten it and died. And that's just a fact.
And
I'm not saying that you're wrong.
The thing is, we'll never know because a lot of people just aren't getting tested. So a lot of people may be going through it, and we don't know if they are or not. Conversely, a lot of people may be going through it and maybe passing away, and we won't know. And the other side of it is the entire third side of it is the media is all over the place.
Stop listening to them. They're all terrible.
We are.
You're right. You're on 100% because they're out there to stir us up, to divert our attention from other things, and
okay.
There's a lot of stuff out there.
I understand that I'm not on the what I do for a living is not on the national scale, and it's not as influential, in a way. In the sense of we don't have the agenda that larger media outlets have, but hear me out on this. When all this came about and we knew it was going to be an issue from day one, we hunkered down, we adjusted, and what we tried to do is offer a place of positivity to let people know, as far as we knew, with research, mind you, all the facts that we could get directly from PA government and directly from credible, reliable resources, and also to let people know that the businesses that were open and that were considered necessary were actively doing their best to provide people in the area with everything that they need, and that they were supported, and that everyone needs to just do what they have to do right now to be safe. We never skewed one way or another. We never said, oh, this is bullshit, go outside and do whatever you want. And we also never said, oh, hey, you need to stay inside, never leave your house ever, ever, forever until they say it's okay. I understand it's different, and there are a lot of places that are this is a, right-wing outlet. This is a leftist outlet. This is a wildly off-the-grid, crazy asshole outlet. Whatever. The thing is, yeah, there are places that you're going to get it, and a lot of people, the problem is they're getting it secondhand through, Facebook and shit. No one's actually sitting down and looking at what people are saying. And the problem is, and I was actually talking about this with my Mama the Bard today. One of the things that people are doing is that the problem is they're taking cues from people who are, it almost feels like America's going, I'm bored of this now, let's reopen. And that's not my opinion. Personally, I think it's just do what you have to do until they say it's okay, and then we move on with our lives. One of my biggest pet peeves is the fucking term new normal. I hate the term new normal.
It's a buzzword.
I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I say that as much as possible just to get a rise out of you. So if you hear me say it a bunch, it's because I love you.
Yeah, don't, because
and I wanna keep your heart strong.
Dude, that's like you starting to say Italian around me, because I will come to your house and I will kick your teeth down your head. I hate it. It's one of those things, and maybe it's because I hate any kind of bowing to a situation, and it's like people resigning themselves to the fact that things are not going to be the same they were. Listen, we have far better advanced medical care, research, the science is better, our capabilities are better, and we are higher functioning than we did back in the last pandemic, which was in the 20s with the Spanish flu. And guess what? Things got back to fucking normal after that, like actual normal, not new normal. So everyone needs to just calm the fuck down and wait for this storm to pass, as the man said, and this too shall pass. Like, everyone
To
just
be
needs
fair, though,
on both sides, okay? And maybe this is me just being all good old poots being Switzerland again. Like, it's everyone needs to just calm the fuck down, do what they have to do to be safe for their loved ones. And if you're gonna buck whatever warnings are given, that's your own decision, and that's the beauty of freedom. Like, I understand you're putting other people at danger, but you know what? Again, what are you gonna do? Like, everyone needs to just calm down, do what they do to need to be safe, and then just move on. It's not brain surgery.
Here's the
Damn
thing.
it.
I understand Ransom's perspective because I know that he works for a smaller business, and I know that he, has I don't want to call it influences, but like relationships with other small business owners. So like right now, this is the absolute worst for them. 100%. Like, this is hot garbage because, and I don't know how other states have handled this because, again, we are a very solipsistic culture where we're focused on how Pennsylvania is doing, how's Ohio doing, how's, fucking New Mexico doing. But that being said, the Pennsylvania infrastructure for this kind of shit was so very, very, very bad that, like, the people who need the money the most are not getting it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a problem. So in a perfect world, I would say to everybody, stay the fuck home, because you're jeopardizing other people if you don't, and that's on your conscience. But
in a world where you don't need money, in a world where there's no currency, that's feasible.
Not only that, but if we had things set up the right way, where small business owners could go to the government and said, hey, like, you're telling me that I can't work, that I can't operate. How am I supposed to, give me money so that I can pay my people? And because it's well documented that the country has bailed out Wall Street to the tune of like $4 trillion or something over this whole thing. The people who need the money the most are not getting it, and that's the problem. So, like, if we had the infrastructure set up to where small business owners could get the money that they needed, some of this fucking trillions of dollars that's being bailed out to fucking giant corporations. If the people, gig workers, again, that's another one, or even just people, the problem is, and this is 100% the problem, because I know that Tiger's having the issue, and so people who are not in the unemployment system already are basically bottlenecked to where they can't get in the system. We're lucky because we were already in the system. I'm not affected. I'm still working like a fucking, like a champ. I'm still getting yelled at every day. But I'm not essential though. I'm just, a fucking customer service worker. So I'm not trying to like take the mantle of like I'm amazing. No, not at all.
Right, but you have that luxury of having one of those work from home jobs where you don't have to be interacting face to face with somebody. If you have a work from home job, you keep on trucking.
Yep.
Exactly. And that's going back to what I said to Poot. It's a choice I made. Like, and you know what? If I were working in an office, I might be laid off right now, making probably more money than I would be making and having all this free time. But you know what? I'm not, and that's okay because I made a choice 3 years ago to work from home, and it has its ups and downs, but overall, I'm far, far better for it. So, like, we're lucky because my wife is in the unemployment system, so we didn't have to go through all that bullshit. My buddy across the state was already in the system, so he didn't have to go through the bullshit. He pulled out his PIN, He logged on, he did the thing, and the things were done to him. So, like, that's the problem, is that new filers, which, you know, if you've never filed for unemployment before, you know, good on you, because that means, and not everybody who files for unemployment is just looking for a handout, because shit happens to everybody. But, like, you know, if you've never had to file for unemployment before in your life, you know, good on you. You're an industrious worker who has done everything that they've had to do to stay as a part of the functioning economy. But the problem is that, you know, so many of those people now need the economy to help them, and again, statewide, the infrastructure was like, how do I handle this? Or like if people could get access to the money that they needed, that they were promised, and that is there for them, individuals, small businesses, whatever, then yes, you know what? If you're in a red fucking county, stay the fuck home. But I get it. I 100% understand where you're coming from, Ransom, and I agree. And that's why I'm saying that I've kind of backed off my stance of, like, you know, smart versus dumb, good versus evil. Like, people, there are a litany of decisions that people have to make. I pray that those decisions don't like have negative consequences, or if they do, it's an inconvenience consequence, like Poot not getting the stimulus right away, or, you know, me having to continue to work. Aw, damn. But, like, you know, I hope that it's nothing that's severe. That's my hope. We'll see, because I think, again, you're right, and I've been rambling, and I apologize, but you're right. I don't think that this is ever going to go away, at least not for a couple of years.
Bear with this noise a little bit.
They've talked about...
He's cocking his gun. He's coming to get me, son of a bitch. I'm gone, guys. See you later.
They've talked about COVID being seasonal, like the flu. They've talked about it. It's just, you know, so who knows, man.
What floors me is that, like, the NFL is operating, because the NFL just released their schedules today. Like, there were talks about playing games at a neutral site, at you know, doing this. They're operating under business as usual. They have not made any accommodations. They've talked about maybe playing not in front of any fans, but, like, the NFL is one of the biggest businesses in the world, not the country, the world. And I think that them, I don't want to say steamrolling, but, like, you know, chugging on is going to be kind of a blueprint for what is going to happen in the country.
Yeah, and I don't know. I see people talking about, you know, well, just stay home and collect your unemployment. It's no big deal. You know, you can pay your bills, blah, blah, blah. But there are people out there who depend on their business, and their unemployment isn't going to pay their own bills and at the same time pay rent and pay utilities and, you know, fork over all of the cash that's needed to keep their business afloat. So while, yes, you may still be able to pay your bills with unemployment, if you're not getting the funds to be able to keep your business afloat, you know, paying your rent, paying your utilities, paying your workers, this, that, or the other thing, people are going to lose their livelihoods.
Yep.
And once this is over, people are, you know, the government's not going to be like, well, you lost your livelihood because of COVID, so we're going to reimburse you all of this money to be able to start up again. Like, that's not going to happen. So, like you say, like the hairdressers and whatnot, it's easy to say, well, that's not essential. Just, you know, you don't need a haircut if you're a guy. Just cut it at home. Who cares? Big whoop. Well, it's big whoop to somebody, but, you know, it's a super big deal to somebody else who has spent their life cultivating that business to where now that business might be kaput and gone. And everything they've worked for and everything that they've built is now, it's just poof, it's gone.
Yep.
And they're not going to be able to rebuild that on unemployment.
Right. No, you're 100% right.
Where'd you go, Beef?
Can you hear me?
Where'd you go, Beef?
Oh, yeah. I can hear him. He's just very far away or very soft. I was hoping that wasn't me.
Uh-oh.
Let me disconnect. I'll come back.
All right, bye.
Oh.
Technical difficulties. Please stand by.
Can you hear me now?
Ah, the beef returns.
There he is.
Aha! Return of the beef. I would be.
Oh.
I am uniquely interested to find out, because like we've heard how other countries have kind of handled this, and like it sounds like it was done very well, and they did a wonderful job. I'm interested to see how some of that has sorted out in the countries that have had, that have done a good job. Like what's happened with small businesses in those countries. Like 100%. I feel like that the money, and I'll say it again, the money is being funneled to the wrong place.
As is tradition.
Right, exactly. Key point. With the small business loans or whatever they were given, the Ruth Chris got like a whole bunch of money. Ruth Chris is not a small business. Ruth Chris is a nationwide chain.
Yeah.
There's no way in the world. And again, I get it. Like, we're all suffering. So, like, I'm not going to sit here and say that a Fortune 500 company doesn't deserve some money, but it needs to be, and I know this is a very slippery slope on a socialist look, but I think it all needs to be like an even distribute, because everybody needs to be in the game. Because here's the thing. To me, I'm going to start doing it now. But like, real talk. If the bottom half of the economy, which is most of who we're talking about, small businesses, scrotes like you and I, if we can't go out there and we can't contribute to the economy, then those Fortune 500 companies are going to grind to a halt. So, like, top-down, trickle-down economics this is kind of like the crux of it. And now we're saying, okay, now we need to jumpstart the economy, which is by putting money in people's hands. And yeah, we all got some of us got $1,200 stimulus checks. Great.
Fuck you, Beef.
Sorry, I love you, buddy.
I knew fully well. The second I knew the moment that it was like, oh, I gotta, my name has to be on checks. I was like, God damn, I'm not gonna get that money until I'm dead. Like,
well, and
then
like,
the thing is, but here's the reason why it's not a big deal. Like, yeah, could I use that right now?
It is though. For you,
give me a second, okay?
No, man.
You've talked 85% of this podcast. Stick with me for like 2 seconds, okay?
Hurtful.
The reason, but am I wrong?
I didn't say you're wrong. I said you're hurtful, you bastard.
I love you. You bastard. Poot. You can't do poot as pack. You can't do that. My point with this was the difference between myself and a couple other people I know is that when I heard about this, I went, I'm not counting on this money. Now, myself, I've been working. Believe it or not, what I do is considered essential. So, I went, I'm not going to depend on this money. I'm not going to change how I do things. I'm not going to do the thing where I go, oh, I'll order this thing, or, oh, I can spend, because that money's coming in. And because I knew right away, I was like, yeah, we're not going to be seeing that for a while. So I just went about my business, and I was prudent about how I've been spending my money. So when it does come in, I'll be like, oh, hey, that's a neat little thing. Like, I didn't sit there. And I'm not also ring banging saying, where's my money? I'm just saying, boy, that's frustrating. You know what I mean? Like, that our system is so that not even that I don't have my money. It's more that the system is so broken that it's this mess of things, like with the unemployment in Pennsylvania, with the distribution of the stimulus checks, with how things are being handled, with people not, like experts not being paid attention to, people who are researching this shit getting killed, like, like all these different things. It's insanity to me. So I'm just sitting back and going, you know what? I'm going to do my day to day. I'm going to have a couple beers and play some Assassin's Creed. Like, that's what I'm going to do. And work on guitars. I'm just going to do my thing, and it'll all work out in the end. Okay, that was my rant, Beef. I apologize for stepping on you and yelling at you. I love you. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it sucks. Like you may be largely unaffected, but like there were people counting on this money to actually get them through until the state eventually got back to them, and like it sucks because, and the other half of this is the government's like, oh no, they've all been out of work or at home for 7 weeks now. 1,200 should be plenty. If you live. Yeah, oh my God. If you live in a semi-urban area, like that might be about what you pay in rent. Maybe a little bit less, or maybe a little bit more than what you pay in rent, so you might be able to pay a bill or two with it. But like that is absolutely insulting to think that $1,200 would be enough for every individual. It's just, the system has failed us all, and it's put everybody against one another, and so I'm not trying to come off like a conspiracy theorist, but like, guess what 2020 is? It's a fucking election year. Like, we were already in a lot of trouble as like a country, as a society, as a people, because like the two sides. I am proud that I have such a diverse group of friends, and family even, where we can be in the same room and not hate each other for having different beliefs or opinions or viewpoints. But like we are the exception. A lot of people are losing friends and family for good over this. Not just the COVID thing, but like politics in general. Shit's ramping up at an alarming rate. And this is just another one of those things that's causing a rift and causing a hard divide. There's no soft divide. This is a hard divide. And it's just crazy.
Well, since we've been on such a heady topic here, before we started the podcast, there was a little story that needed to be told to me. Ransom, you got a story you want to tell me?
Which story was that?
About the moon.
Oh boy, about
That's
the moon.
no moon.
So, paint me a word picture, Ransom.
Okay, so this was... What was this? This was after college for us, Beef.
Yep.
This was after college.
This was a reunion, Alf, at the Days Inn.
Yeah. We would go up to Clarion, shortly after college for Autumn Leaf Festival. It was just, big, happy, fun time. Get to see all your buds from college, do some drinking.
Happy Alf, big tits.
Happy Alf. Oh, yeah, that's another... I'll tell this story to roll into that story. They don't really correspond, but since Steve said it, our senior year of college, we lived in an apartment that emptied out into a back hallway, or a back alleyway. And this back alleyway was right near probably the most popular bar in Clarion. So it was frequented, and it was Alf, so it was heavily frequented. So Beef and I were standing outside. We probably had a party, and it was getting hot in there. So Beef and I were outside. And we're just talking, we're yucking it up, we're drinking, and this drunk dude comes stumbling down the alley and sees us standing out on our stoop. And he stops dead in his tracks, looks at us, and looks at Beef. And I don't know who said it first. I think Beef, I think you said it first, or I said it, just because we were hammered, and seeing this guy staring at us. We were like, hey, Happy Alf. He looks right back at us and looks at Beef and goes, Happy Alf, big tits. And then just keeps walking. He goes, did he just say Happy Alf, big tits? And I said, yeah, I think he did. So that's where that came from. But anyway, a few years after college, we were up at the Days Inn. We had done the ALF thing. It was at night. We were back at the hotel. We're drinking. Beef and I find ourselves outside again. And I don't know which one of us was looking, but one of us was looking at what we thought was, big, bright, circular thing. We thought it was a big full moon. And we're both of us are staring at it. We're like, geez, the moon is huge tonight, and it's so freaking bright.
It was cigarette breaks, because we drink and we go back out, and I'd have a smoke, and you'd come with me, and you'd break a light or two, we'd go back in. And I think that was the year that you broke that light, by the way.
Yeah.
So, like, every time that we go out, it's like, man, that moon is, like, still right there and still so big and bright. Wow, that's awesome.
Oh, no, you Matrix. No,
Sorry.
you Matrix. Go back.
All right, so we keep going back outside, and we keep looking at this moon, and we're like, man, it's not moving, and it's huge, and blah, blah, blah. So finally, Tara and Emily come out with us, and, we're pointing at it, we're showing them, we're like, look at the moon. And I can't remember if it was Tara or Emily, but they look at us, and they go, dude, that's a satellite dish on a tower.
It was 100% Emily. She's like, you guys know that's not the moon, right? And we're like, yeah.
Like, bullshit, what are you talking about? We're like, that's the moon, it's huge. And she's like, no, that's a satellite dish on like a radar tower. And after she said that, we both stared at it. Yeah, we stared at it and we went, oh no, it is. We're so dumb.
And it's one of those things that you just like, you look at your buddy when you both like had that dumb thing, and you look at each other and go, okay, we're not going to make fun of each other about this. This is just going to be our story.
I think
like it's time to stop drinking and go to bed.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the time that we're just like, all right, you know what? We're going to stop like actively trying to keep the drunk on and ride it out. But the drinking portion of the evening is over because we've been looking at a satellite dish for over 2-3 hours thinking that it's the fucking moon. Happy Alf Big Tits.
That,
what a disaster.
Is bonkers. That is bonkers. Dude, I've been pretty drunk in my day. I don't think I've ever been so drunk that a satellite dish was the moon.
It was absolutely the moon for us that night.
Wow. That is outstanding. And see, these are the things, and we're going to wrap this up, but these are the reasons why when I was in my second year at Lock Haven main campus, I was going to transfer. I was miserable. I was in such a depressed, shitty place. Like, I wanted to transfer, and I wanted to go to Clarion because I knew Beef was there. And also, I really liked the campus, and I really liked the people I met in the music department. I was like, that'll be great. I'll go. They have a guitar department. Literally went downstairs in my dorm to look at the, like, how I would transfer over and, like, what the, different curriculums are for the music thing. And at the bottom, in a big note, it said, please note that next semester, or as of next year, we are dropping the guitar and organ performance majors. And I went, well, fuck. Like,
there goes my plan.
Yeah, well, and I didn't even think about it until the following semester when things started turning around for old Puderino. I didn't even think about it until then. I was like, I could have just gone as a voice major. I could have transferred over as a voice major. I could have done it. But, no, like, and it's stories like that now, years and years and years later, that make me go like, man, it would have been such a great time to go to Clarion with you two idiots. However, I never would have gotten any shit done.
No.
Nope.
Tara and I probably wouldn't have gotten married because she, at times, was already at her wit's end about Beef and I constantly playing video games and skipping class, still winding up graduating, and she's like, I have to go to class every day, and I'm working my ass off, and you two idiots are in here playing video games. If it was the three of us, good golly.
Oh, it would have been the end of the world. We would still be in college.
Yeah, we'd still be in college.
Yeah, but Man, what a ride it'd be.
Oh, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. But Ransom, I'll
Do you
tell
want
you.
to thank our sponsors before we roll out?
Yeah, who wants to do that? Beef, you want to do the honors?
I would absolutely love to.
All right.
It's been a hot minute. We want to thank our wonderful and generous sponsors, the Tiger Bomb Tom
Loving it.
and the Casual Gaming Dad on Facebook. Look him up. He does a lot of great work. He's been working through Final Fantasy VII. But the awesome thing about CGD is that he doesn't just get engrossed in one thing. He's very diversified. He's been taking breaks playing World War Z, Mario Kart. He's been co-streaming with ADD Gamer, I want to say.
Yes.
He's been doing some Halo. He did Halo. So and you know he still finds time to do the classics too. So like tune into his channel because you never know what you're gonna get. And much like the weather in Pennsylvania, if you don't like what you're looking at, wait about 10 minutes, and I'm sure you're gonna be getting something altogether different. Not to mention he opens you up to a plethora of other content out there. He's always sharing great pages. So go give him a like, give him some support. Don't be a fucko. Give him like a support, and tell him we sent you, and as well give his buddy Gold Gaming some love for the awesome shirts that he puts out there for our buddy Tiger Bomb, and the Pittsburgh Piledriver podcast T-shirt is still available in the Casual Gaming Dad shop. So check him out. Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, good stuff all around. We also want to thank Sean Tischler and what he has done in IWC with the IWC in Clearfield. Again, it's a bummer that we weren't able to celebrate Pootmas up there. Fingers crossed that September, November, sometime in there is going to be hopefully caged combat. But the return for IWC in Clearfield is imminent. So stay tuned to the IWC Clearfield Facebook page for that, or just befriend Sean yourself. He'll be able to give you the latest updates. And as always, if IWC is in town in Clearfield, your boy's gonna try to be there.
All right.
Well done.
Yeah, very, very well done. Ransom, I'll tell you what. Why don't you do the honors of taking us out?
I will do so. Everybody, thank you very much for listening. It was a pleasure. Hopefully you get some enjoyment and entertainment out of us idiots talking about idiot stuff. And I mean, it's just Idiot Cast. We love it, and hopefully you enjoy it too. So for Beef the Legend, the best damn Cruiserweight champ there ever was, Poot the Bard, Alec Ransom, please tune in next week because I'm sure we'll be breaking down Money in the Bank on the Beefberg Piledriver Beefcast, solely brought to you by Beef, talked about by Beef, and your only host Beef because he won't shut the hell up. Thanks everybody for listening. This has been Beefcast.
I'm going to slash your tires.